My mother tried to sell my beach house for her retirement, until the management company arrived. The elegant ballroom at Meadowbrook Country Club suddenly went still. My mother stood confidently at the microphone, a champagne flute in her hand, frozen in a practiced smile. Behind her, a wide banner announced, "Happy Retirement, Patricia." In front of her now stood two uniformed police officers and a composed woman in a navy business suit, clutching a leather portfolio. "I'm terribly sorry," my mother said, her voice catching. "There must be some misunderstanding here." The woman stepped forward. "Rebecca Chin, Senior Property Manager, Coastal Elite Management. We administer the Sandpiper Beach House under a corporate lease signed in 2019. The lease remains active until December 2037. The legal owner is your son, David Morrison. You have no authority to sell this property." My brother James shot to his feet at the family table. "Mom holds power of attorney. David has been unreachable, gone for 2 years. She had every legal right. No power of attorney exists in her name," I said calmly, stepping out from behind the officers. The room exploded into murmurs and gasps. My mother's glass slipped and shattered on the marble floor with a sharp, echoing crack. My sister Sarah went white, fingers tightening around the $50,000 check Mom had slipped her just an hour earlier. James's jaw locked in that telltale way he has when cornered. Rebecca Chin opened her portfolio with deliberate calm. "Mr. Morrison contacted us 3 weeks ago after spotting unauthorized listing activity. We have monitored the situation in partnership with local authorities ever since." My mother's hands trembled visibly. "David, honey, darling, you disappeared. You stopped taking my calls." "I was only trying to secure a future for everyone. I was taking calls," I answered quietly, "just never yours." 6 weeks earlier at 6:47 a.m., a notification lit up my phone. "New listing alert, 2847 Sandpiper Lane." I was 2,000 miles away in Seattle, buried in a demanding 3-month software contract that kept me working 70 hours a week. I opened the real estate app. There was my beach house, bought in 2018 with money from my first startup exit, listed for $2.1 million. Listed by Patricia Morrison, my mother. I called Rebecca Chin immediately. "Ms. Chin, this is David Morrison. Someone is trying to sell my Sandpiper property." "Mr. Morrison," her voice tightened with concern. "Your mother contacted us 2 weeks ago claiming you died in a car accident. She said she was administering your estate." The room seemed to tilt. "I'm very much alive. I can hear that clearly." She presented what appeared to be a death certificate and estate documents. We told her early lease termination carried heavy penalties. She said she understood and would work with the tenant. Then the listing appeared anyway. The tenant is Meridian Pharmaceuticals. They use the house as an executive retreat. The lease pays $180,000 per year with a 3% annual escalation. Model tenants. I did the quick math. 14 years remaining. Roughly $2.8 million in guaranteed income, plus likely appreciation. She was trying to sell a $2.1 million asset that would quietly generate nearly $3 million over time. "What do you need from me?" I asked. "Proof you're alive would help," Rebecca replied dryly. "And a police report. What she's doing qualifies as wire fraud." I stared out at the rain-streaked Seattle skyline. "Give me 48 hours. I want the full picture before involving law enforcement." The investigation began. I hired forensic accountant Martin Reeves, expensive at $400 an hour, but exceptionally thorough. 3 days later, his preliminary report arrived. "Your mother opened an estate checking account in your name on February 3, using forged probate papers. She deposited $50,000 of her own money to make it look legitimate. She collected $85,000 in earnest money deposits from would-be buyers. She has already spent about $400,000, a down payment on a beachfront condo in her name, and $50,000 checks to each of your 3 siblings. One glaring question: where did the $400,000 come from if she was supposedly broke? I called my brother's wife, Emma. We'd always been on good terms. Emma, Did James get a big check from Mom recently? Long pause. He said it was early inheritance. He told me you wanted the family provided for before you disappeared. David, what's happening? I'm not dead. And it wasn't inheritance. Her breath caught. Oh God, James swore you approved it all, that you were stepping away from the family and this was your way of taking care of us. He already put money down on a boat. A boat. My mother had convinced my siblings I was gone forever, forged documents, defrauded buyers, and my brother bought himself a boat. Martin's next email came that evening. Source of the $400,000 located. Your mother took out a $425,000 reverse mortgage on her home against $380,000 in equity. She gambled everything on this sale closing. Rain hammered my Seattle windows. She had risked her own house to steal mine. I opened a spreadsheet I called the Phantom Ledger. Not just dollars, emotional costs too. Thanksgiving 2022, I called to say happy holidays. Mom said we miss you so much while secretly planning my death. Cost, the safety I once felt in family traditions. Christmas 2023, I sent gifts. Sarah replied, "You're so thoughtful." She was already holding a fake death certificate. Cost, 34 years of sisterly trust erased. February 2024, Dad's death anniversary. Mom called crying about loneliness. She was signing fraudulent papers that same week. Cost, grief turned into a weapon. Every weekly call where she asked about my health, my work, my plans, reconnaissance. Every I love you strategy. For 2 years I believed distance was temporary, that family waited unchanged. The ledger showed the truth. I'd never been seen as a person, only as a revenue source to reroute. Emotional math, 0 in, 0 out. The account had always been empty. The plan. I called Rebecca Chin. I want to attend my mother's retirement party. March 15th. Mr. Morrison, that's very public. Are you sure? She made the sale public first. I want her celebration to be where the truth lands. I worked with Detective Sarah Alvarez in fraud. We built an ironclad case, forged documents, wire trails, buyer emails, sibling messages about their inheritance. The prosecutor called it one of the cleanest fraud files she'd seen. 3 weeks before the party, I flew home, checked into a hotel under a false name, met Rebecca, Detective Alvarez, and real estate fraud attorney Harold Maddox. Harold reviewed the file. Exposure is severe. Wire fraud, forgery, identity theft. Federal charges possible. 5 to 10 years minimum. I don't want prison time, I said. I want her to feel exactly what she destroyed. Harold nodded. Then we go financial. Asset seizure, full restitution, restraining orders. She loses everything except freedom. Detective Alvarez added, public venue means surgical precision. No drama, just facts and consequences. The party night arrived. My mother wore cream silk, silver hair perfect. Shrimp cocktails, prime rib, 200 guests, colleagues, friends, neighbors. Family table front and center with siblings and spouses. At 7:15 p.m. She took the microphone, thanked everyone for 35 years at the hospital, spoke of family support through grief, especially losing her son David 2 years earlier. Guests sighed sympathetically. Sarah dabbed her eyes. Mom continued, even in loss we move forward. I'm grateful David left resources for new chapters. I sold his beach house this week, $2.1 million to fund my retirement and help his siblings. He would have wanted us cared for. Applause rose. Then Rebecca Chin entered with 2 officers. The sound died instantly. Heels clicked across marble. Patricia Morrison, Detective Alvarez said. My mother's smile faltered. Yes, Detective Alvarez. This is Rebecca Chin, Coastal Elite Management. We need to discuss 2847 Sandpiper Lane, your son's property. I explained everything to the company, Mom said weakly. Your son is alive, Rebecca stated, pulling out documents. This property has 14 years left on a corporate lease to Meridian Pharmaceuticals, generating $180,000 annually. You attempted to sell an asset you do not own, using forged probate documents. You collected $85,000 in fraudulent deposits. You spent $400,000 gained through deception. That constitutes wire fraud, forgery, and identity theft. My mother's glass fell again, shards scattered. I stepped forward. "Hello, Mom," Sarah gasped. James's chair tipped over as he stood. Color drained from her face, she gripped the podium. "David, but you thought I was dead. Or you told everyone I was. There's a difference." Rebecca continued. "Mr. Morrison contacted us 3 weeks ago. We documented everything: fake death certificate, sham estate account, buyer calls claiming authority, $50,000 checks to your children. We have recordings." She slid a thick folder forward. Every defrauded buyer, every forged page, every transfer traced. Detective Alvarez added, "No arrest tonight at Mr. Morrison's request, but criminal charges await if restitution isn't immediate." My mother looked at me desperate. "David, please, I was helping the family. You were gone, you never answered." "I answered," I said, "just not you. I was in Seattle working." "You knew I told you at Christmas. You called in January, I picked up. You didn't believe I was dead. You just convinced everyone else I was," James spoke. "The check she gave me, fraud proceeds," I said. "You'll return it, all of you will." Sarah's face crumpled. "I already spent it on doesn't matter," Harold Maddox said, stepping up. "I'm Mr. Morrison's attorney. Those checks reverse tomorrow. Deposits clawed back. Your mother took a $425,000 reverse mortgage betting on this sale. That loan is due in full now. Her house, our childhood home, forecloses in 90 days without full repayment." Mom's legs buckled. Guests helped her to a chair. Rebecca addressed the room. "Deposit payers, we have records. Restitution accounts will be set up through court. You'll recover funds, but Mrs. Morrison owes principal plus damages." The club manager appeared nervously. "Should we?" "The party is over," I said. Aftermath came fast. 6 weeks later, Mom's house sold at auction. The $380,000 equity went to restitution. She moved to a small one-bedroom apartment, $1,200 rent. The retirement condo deal canceled. Developer kept her $400,000 deposit. Siblings returned checks. James took a loan to cover his boat down payment. Sarah sold jewelry. They sent long apologetic emails claiming they didn't know, believed Mom, thought it was real. I didn't reply. Belief doesn't change facts. They cashed checks knowing I was supposedly dead. They celebrated my inheritance at a funeral that never happened. The Sandpiper house still pays $180,000 yearly. Meridian executives love it. They're discussing lease extension, another $2 million potential. I sit on my Seattle balcony most evenings. Rain feels cleansing. Family numbers blocked. Email changed. Boundaries built like walls because walls are what's needed. Mom calls from restricted numbers. I don't answer. She sends handwritten letters. Temporary insanity, financial pressure, never meant to hurt you. But she did hurt me for $2.1 million, for a dream retirement, for $50,000 thank you checks. The phantom ledger is closed. Balance zero. Every missed call, fake tear, tactical I love you, tallied and settled. I don't need forgiveness. I don't want reconciliation. I needed them to learn the line between family and fraud. They tried to write my obituary. I wrote their crime instead. They wanted my assets. They lost theirs. Waves still crash on Sandpiper Lane. Executives vacation there. $15,000 arrives monthly like clockwork. Mom wanted my house to buy her peace. She bought my permanent distance instead. That's the real cost, not money lost, but a son who will never come home. The account is closed. Balance zero. I am finally free. Thank you for watching my story. If you enjoyed it, please subscribe and press the bell icon. Stay tuned for more real-life stories. Get more experiences.